So this is the 5th Smiley's Friends album, Smiley's Friends in the Afterglow, the 5th in 6 years. Not quite sure what happened in that second year, I was a bit slack. So we've changed a few things this time around, changed writers, whereas we used a lyricist for the last few, but I've gone to specific writers. I wrote half of them myself and I wrote half with certain writers who I'll come to in a minute. And last time we did the 12 singers, so I changed that, and I think I ended up singing most of them. I think Newman sang one, and Kerry sang one, but primarily the album works better as a piece because it's a little bit more cohesive, because it's kind of the one voice, and so the songs became a little bit more integrated, but interesting working with other co-writers. So the first song on the album is a song called Social Vampire, which I wrote with John James Newman, which is great because I just wanted to blow your speakers up. That was my aim for the first song. So don't be fooled, don't turn it up too quickly because it's very loud. But that was a song about social media, which is social media's just taken over the whole world. And so it kind of gives you an insight of the good or the bad. Depends how you work it. I think my way of looking at social media is that as long as you've got your tongue in your cheek, that you can write what you like. But if you haven't got your tongue in your cheek, you've got to be a little bit careful. And then I wrote a song called Law Unto Herself, which was basically about a friend of a friend who was basically just causing carnage by talking to different people at different times, and then everything just causing chaos between really close friends. And I sat and watched it unfold right in front of my eyes, and it was quite interesting to put it into words. So that worked really well. The next song was a very interesting song. That we've got a song called 25 Words or Less. When I was on tour with Archive this year, we actually went on at a festival after Iggy Pop. One of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life, standing at the side of the stage watching Iggy Pop. And in the afternoon of that, we watched a documentary about Iggy Pop on the tour bus about the Stooges. And they asked Iggy Pop, how did he write his lyrics back in the day? And he said, 25 words or less. And I thought, I'm having that. So that was my key for this chat. Went and watched Iggy Pop and blew me away completely. And Steve Norman from Spandau Ballet was on that gig playing saxophone for Iggy Pop. So I always kept that one in the back of my mind, that I could possibly get him on the track, which we did, and it's amazing. But the 25 words or less, I got to about 17 words. So I was on tour with Archive, so I asked Dave Penn, the Archive singer, to kind of to write some words. So it's interesting to be able to just take 25 words for a whole song. So we did that, we wrote that, and then I decided we needed somebody to kind of narrate it. And earlier in the year, we had a band called the Transmitters in, and they brought in Gary Shale, who is, anybody who remembers Quadrophenia, he was Spider in Quadrophenia. Amazing man, really interesting, funny as, can't really say what I was about to say, but really nice guy, but obviously a trained actor. So I asked Gary Shale to come in and sing this song in the guise of Iggy Pop, Johnny Rotten. And then I got James Stevenson from The Alarm to play guitar on it, and it is an out and out belter. And the other great story about that song is I wanted to thank John James Newman for writing the songs on this record. And John's a secret drummer. He just loves drums. So I invited him round and said I had a present for him, and basically when he came round I just gave him a pair of sticks, And he said, "Oh, thanks, mate." I said, No, go in. And he played drums on it as a little thank you. So check the drumming out on that track. It's fantastic. Then I wrote a song called Uprising, which is based around a dream I had about 20 billion people uprising and marching towards this big field to protest. And then when we all got there, we realised we didn't know what we were there for, and it had all been said before. That's Uprising. Dale Davis plays on that track. Best bass line ever. And then the album takes a slight sad turn because there's a song in there called Real Love. Very John Lennon, very Beatlesy. It's a lovely song. I've got some great people playing it. Gary Nuttall plays on it. And he plays a beautiful little guitar solo because Gary's Beatle mad. And then I got Jessica Lee Morgan, who is Tony Visconti's daughter, who's great. I saw her playing with Holy Holy and she plays sax, so I got her to play on it, which is lovely. But the real story behind that song is that Alan Thompson, as you all know, Alan Thompson was my hero and one of my best friends, and he died in the year, which completely broke my heart. But he played bass on the track, which was a really beautiful moment for me, and I know he loved doing it. So when we lost him, myself and John Newman wrote a song called Afterglow, which is a really beautiful piece for Alan, and it's quite sad. I played it to Kerry and she cried, so obviously it did its thing. So we named the album after that as well. And then we got a track called Prophecy, which again John and I wrote. I managed to get Craig Adams from The Mission play on that one. Not the easiest thing to get, but easy. Legends. And then I had an old song floating around from about 20 years ago, which I wrote with my old friend Johnny Wilkes, which is called I Suppose This Must Be Love, which is very joyous, very up, and very celebratory. So that's a good one to look out for. Another track I wrote with a guy called Mike Doby, who I'm sure a few of you are aware of. I wanted to write a song about the Northern Soul scene because I saw a film about it and I was intrigued by it. And Mike Doby was there back in Wigan Casino and everything. So Mike came around and we basically wrote everything that was to do with Northern Soul and put this track together. And again, I used the Brass Brothers on about 3 tracks. They're the guys from the Scar Souls. Check them out, they're fabulous. So that was really cool. There's a track called Everything Comes Down, which is based loosely around Brexit. If you want some political lyrics, you go to Billy Reeves, who is the greatest political lyricist ever. And it's a very funky song, so I got Lee Mullen, who was George Michael's percussionist, to play on it, and it's fantastic. We got a song called Want, which is a song that I wrote with John, which is another funky little track. And the final song on the album was a very personal song because everybody knows me and knows our family that we lost our lovely dog this year, who might just be a dog to some people, but was more like a human. So we wrote a song for him called Boy, and I sing half of it, Kerry sings the other half of it, and it's quite a beautiful thing, which I'm very proud of. There's some other great musicians on this album. Jolien Dixon played guitars, who is astonishing. Andy Marlowe, who I did some stuff with Tracy Ullman with, he's on the album, he's superb as well. Mickey Hercombe from Archive played guitar on it, and once again I got the community choir to come and sing on a few songs. So very pleased with this record. It's a real team effort again. Obviously I forgot to mention some musicians. So Steve Brooks, amazing Steve Brooks, who was the original member of the Jam, played some guitar for me, wonderful man. Dorrie Jackson once again came in and sang backing vocals with Kerry and John James Newman, which was a wonderful day once again. My friend Robin Foster in France played some beautiful guitars, and Mark Taylor from The Alarm played some piano as well. My friend Stuart Hyson from school played some piano as well. I think that's everybody. If I forgot to mention you, I'm genuinely sorry, but Yeah, and the wonderful Carl Parsons did the artwork, and Stuart Lynch did the mastering. It will be available from February the 1st, but you can pre-order it now, and I think you're going to enjoy it. So check it out. Thank you. For Alan Thompson.